Good morning, everyone. This is Jill Raven Stevenson of Juniper Sage. And it's Tuesday morning, and I am here to have a little musing, a little inspiration, a little insight, a little teaching that will come over these next 3 days. Last week we worked with stability. The week before that we worked with settling in. Week before that, it was kind of the beginning, right? So I'm so grateful we worked with stability last week. It really helped me through the week as my little Aquarian humanitarian was pretty active in getting all the news last week. So this week I've made a commitment to quiet myself and not kind of be wondering what's happening out in the world. I also think those of us that are empathic, working with stability helps us kind of discern what's in our sphere, what's not in our sphere, what's in our control, what's not in our control, what is ours to attend to and what is not ours to attend to. And to be truthful with that and to move in that truth in a way that helps you feel the stability within these changing times. I was just listening to a podcast before I got on of this woman that she's called It's All About the Process. Can't remember her name. I just ran across her yesterday, so I'm still getting to know her. And she was talking about instability and security and stability and her experience of it at this time. And I could really resonate with it. I was like, wow, okay, this is really helpful to be kind of being reinforced of just staying in my lane. And knowing that you are going to be in the right place, right time, right person, have the right thing to offer, and have the right thing to receive that's going to serve our highest good and highest path of potential. It is such an important prayer I feel to kind of have in my little repertoire of prayers right now, is just, asking Creator or Spirit or myself or God, whatever that language, or the Goddess, whatever, that is for you, when you kind of are asking for that support, to be held in this prayer of right person, right time, right place, right event, right action, so that we don't feel the weight of it on our shoulders, for those of us that kind of feel so working towards staying in our lane, right, in our compassionate self. So it's such an interesting time, isn't it? So what we're going to do today in this week is kind of a little bit more of a melding pot of some different things, not necessarily a specific theme. If I were to give it a specific theme this week, is kind of looking at choice, right? So choices is, in my mind, is an aspect or an expression of our freedom. And sometimes we don't realize that our choice is connected to or anchored to a belief system or a value or a conditioned belief, a conditioned response, a cultural response. So when we get to rest in between our choices, in the space that is around our choices, or provides the platform for our choices to rest into, what I've been working with is the energy of grace. So for me, grace is kind of the gateway or the guardian or the overseer of my choices, and also in that, my freedom. As I kind of unravel things that might be held in my own judgment, whether I'm judging myself or the world around me, or my own old, they do feel old, kind of control mechanisms of, I need this to happen in order to have this, right? I need the world to be in harmony so I can have my stability. But really, it's having my stability to connect with the harmony that's around me, because it's here available for us. So a couple of things to kind of think about is stability, again, invokes what in your life? What does it invoke more of? So I'm going to speak from the place this week of that it invokes more peace, more joy, more love in my life. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how it invokes more peace in my life and how you can put that into practice with looking at choices in your life that might be arising or emerging or heavy on your mind or on your heart, or inspirations. We can sometimes have a bubbling up of a lot of inspirations, and to be able to make choice of what inspiration matches a desire, right, to from a grounded place, so held in that stability that we were talking about last week. Okay, so peace. So let's just take a few breaths to kind of ground and use that settling in tool that we talked about 2 weeks ago. So it's just kind of either imagining that you're landing into the moment, or that you're sitting strong in the moment. So for me, the Aquarian air sign of me is always kind of imagines this beautiful feather, this thought that's going to ground itself into my moment. So when I'm taking my 3 breaths, I'm kind of feeling that grounding. So just begin to play with what imagery or what feeling or word would help the grounding process of being with us in this moment. All right, so just taking 3 beautiful breaths, again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Probably close my eyes and let myself visualize my feather. All right, so breathing in. So when we think of peace and bringing more of that into our space, what invokes peace for you? So letting yourself kind of think of 4 or 5 things that invoke the energy of peace, or you feel peace in your body. So this isn't attending to something that you have a struggle with right now. This is about what invokes the energy of peace within you. So for me, it's my breath invokes this relaxation. I have nature, and for me, it's sitting sometimes and doing a meditative style drawing, like a very meditative little exercise that I've either developed or picked up from somebody else. So just something that helps me kind of rest into the moment. So that's the first thing to kind of think about today, as we're kind of, stimulating this idea of choice, stability, and for us today, the invocation of peace. Sometimes it's a warm blanket. One of the things I'm realizing I'm going to let myself purchase, or allow myself or celebrate my purchase of a hammock. And I have a hammock that goes between a tree, but I wanted that big flat hammock. And I feel like that's just going to have this rhythmic piece for me. So that's something I'm going to bring tangibly into my life. So it could be like lighting a candle every morning, writing. I'm an artist way fan, right? Making sure I'm writing my 3 pages in the morning. It's something that you can dedicate or devote the week that invokes peace. And when we can kind of dedicate a certain amount of time, then we can have that trial period to kind of test it out. Like, how did that work for me? What was the result of that? Did I experience more peace? Was it stressful for me to think about lighting a candle every day? Just kind of, did I need to move and just have the invocation of peace and needed to move the action piece of that every day? So just kind of, and the invitation this week is to be very experimental with some of the offerings. Now, when we think about choice and we think about the tangibility, the concrete aspects of choice, right, the earthly part of choice, we can think about, do I want, popcorn for dinner, or do I want salad for dinner, right? Now, both of those would have a criteria of why you would choose one, right? So let's say I want to choose popcorn, and I kind of sit with myself and slow down and say, okay, why popcorn, right? What is the gift of popcorn? Well, it's joyful. It's kind of the inner child. Look, it's salty. My body wants some salt. It's easy, right? So that choice attends to this child part of me, right? And then I come over and I look at a salad. And immediately my digestive system goes, that would be really good for my digestive system, this salad, right? And so my physical body craves a salad. So here I am with these two choices, and I'm feeling into what one gives me and what the other one gives me. And I begin to come into a place of problem solving. If I have the salad and it makes my body feel good, what else could I be doing that would attend to my inner child, right? Oh, I could paint a fun picture, right? Or, I could listen to music. Or I could go out and have lunch with my friend, or invite a friend over for a nice, beautiful salad, right? So now my needs are being met by a choice that helps my body feel better. So let's think about an inspiration that comes in, right? So something that's a little bit higher in our field, or, kind of expanded. It's not necessarily tangible in our field. So let's just say I want to do a picture of a waterfall. So I just want to be around waterfalls, and I think I'll paint a picture of a waterfall. Or I want to, my inner child must really want to play, or I'll do a really fun picture of, or a series of owls. So again, I would sit with that and feel which one of those choices, what do they fill, what do I get from those choices? And in that, again, rest into which one serves my highest good and my highest path of potential in this moment. So if I step back a moment in this little small teaching, is my body's health is a priority for me right now. So it speaks the loudest. But in my secondary moment, I could bring in something playful for my inner child. So if we look at a little bit more abstract in these choosings of what do I want to create, right? For those of us that gets lots of inspiration, which I am one of those, is, or, something I want to bring, I'm dreaming into my life, is, again, to go through the same kind of criteria. What would the waterfall bring me, right? Painting the waterfall. Well, immediately I'm like, frustration, because I'm not a landscape artist. So there's some frustration and there's a feeling of lack of confidence. So I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. Then I go over to owls in a very childlike nature, and that's very easy. I'm confident in that choice. So here I am in these two choices, and I've assessed what they would each bring into my life. So when we get inspiration, just backing up again here, is such a beautiful moment to think, what does it bring into my life, right? And is it what I want? Because as conduits and creators of our life, we're always getting input and information. And having a moment of feeling stable and grounded, we don't get carried into that inspiration. We can choose it to bring it into form. We can choose it or say no to it, right? So now let's move back into the owl and the waterfall. So now I go into my needs as an artist or my needs of mastery. And I'm feeling, what I really want to do is turn, my body really wants to turn. So I'm also using my body as a diviner. It wants to turn towards the waterfall and go. I really want to work with the waterfall and figure out how I could paint a waterfall. And when I think about the owl, which is that playfulness energy, how I can work with that musing, that muse, is to playfully have a playful moment with the waterfall. So maybe painting it with my left hand, or finger painting the waterfall, or going to the waterfall and bringing art materials there and seeing what I can create, right? So the waterfall is important, and it's giving me something. And taking this other choice with me, the energy of that playfulness, can help me move past my personal judgments and my personal fears. Right? So these are two very simple moments of looking at choice. So, and we're not thinking of a third dynamic right now. We're just working with these two dynamics for right now. We're working with our own intuition. A third dynamic would be calling in guidance. A third dynamic would be, what else could I create, right? Would it be another choice I could have? I don't like any of these choices, right? So that would be the third element. But for today, in this teaching, I would invite you to just playfully feel into choosing, two choices for dinner tonight. Or two choices of something that you've been thinking about, things that you've been thinking about creating, and bring two of those choices in front of you. And just feel that this process of, what does each one bring you? And what in your body, right? Just like the salad, the body was speaking very loudly, will help me, is for my highest good and my highest path of potential. So the timing of this teaching helps us really stay in our autonomy. It helps us stay connected to our desires and our own dreaming. And it helps us slow down so that we're making choices based on, our truth in the moment. What has heart and meaning for us. So enjoy the process of choice, and tomorrow we'll kind of work with another perspective around choice and see what can kind of bubble up from there. All right, you guys, have a beautiful, wonderful day. Stay safe in the world. Feel the grace of stability anchoring you, feeling the grounding aspects of your life, and enjoy the exploration around choice.